Did you know, the iconic sound made by the Elite in the original Halo is actually a slowed down and reversed sound clip of Sergeant Johnson shouting, "No, no, no!" Not only this, but the Elite's speech in general is Johnson's dialogue slowed down by about 25% and played in reverse. Here are a few examples.
Don't even try it, soldier.
Halo has some interesting secrets within it, but its history is just as compelling. Though largely known for creating the Halo franchise, Bungie released 9 games prior to Halo Combat Evolved, 3 of which are Mac exclusives, and Bungie's main 2 franchises, Marathon and Myth, sold well on the platform. They were well received by Mac gamers, making it crucial that subsequent games released on the Mac. Halo Combat Evolved was first revealed during the Macworld conference by Jason Jones sharing the stage with Steve Jobs. Simply titled Halo, the game was planned to release on Mac and PC at the same time. This was a big deal for Steve Jobs, who reportedly was not a fan of gaming at the time. The game at this point was vastly different from the finished product we know today, but even by the time of its reveal it had changed quite a bit from its original idea. Jones's initial plan for the game was a sci-fi variation on the real-time strategy gameplay of Myth, which told the story of a war on a planet called Solipsis. Plot-wise, the game was always about a single soldier who we now know as the Master Chief. The project's art director, Marcus Leto, was in charge of Master Chief's design. Shikai Wang provided the concept art for the character, but it was deemed too slender, almost effeminate, and was thus beefed up in addition to some other changes. Leto was also responsible for the game's shift to the first-person perspective. Before development of Halo began, Bungie partnered with Take-Two Interactive to publish Myth 2 and Oni, a third-person action game which had just started development. At the same time, Microsoft, who had collaborated with SEGA on their Dreamcast console, were looking to enter the console business for themselves. The Xbox project thus began, but Microsoft needed a killer app for the console just as much as they needed the console itself. Roughly 3 months after unveiling the Xbox project to the press, Microsoft bought out Bungie and Halo was confirmed to be an Xbox exclusive. As a result of this, Take-Two ended their partnership with Bungie, taking the rights to Myth and Oni with them. During Halo's first European press tour, the demo computer hosting the game literally blew up with smoke pouring out of the machine. Lead writer and cinematic director Joe Staten said, "Having no computer made our first demo go, poorly. Imagine, if you will, there's this green guy called Master Chief and he's fighting against some purple space aliens called the Covenant. Cool, huh?" Halo Combat Evolved went on to sell over 6.4 million copies. There hasn't been a lot of information regarding the actual acquisition of Bungie and what that process was like, so we sought out former Microsoft General Manager Stuart Mulder to shed some light on the event. According to him, while Microsoft had great IPs in the form of Age of Empires and Flight Simulator, they felt neither series would make for quality console launch titles. Halo seemed to fit that bill, but Bungie wasn't going to just walk into Microsoft's ownership. At the time of the buyout, Bungie was struggling financially, so the money was much needed, but the staff at Bungie weren't too thrilled with the idea of having a parent company. While other Microsoft employees worked on the numbers side of the deal, Mulder was in charge of pitching the idea of working with Microsoft to everyone at Bungie. Microsoft wanted Bungie to be assured that they would retain their identity as a creative studio. Bungie was approached from the top down, with its founders first being assured that Microsoft would provide creative freedom, then other teams and individuals in Bungie. Beyond that, Bungie didn't want to work in the typical Microsoft environment where employees each had an office. They wanted a bullpen, an open space which promoted creativity and community. Microsoft not only provided them this space inside their own building complete with a living room simulator where they could enjoy the game in an environment similar to that of their customers, but their area was partitioned off and had its own security staff, and very few people from Microsoft could visit freely. This was so they wouldn't feel as though they'd been assimilated by the Borg. Though, this did not stop Microsoft's marketing department from changing the name of the game from Halo to Halo Combat Evolved. This was allegedly done to better compete with other military-themed shooters. Throughout their work on the Halo franchise, Bungie pulled several ideas and features from their previous projects. Their first shooter, Marathon, follows a nameless cyborg security officer wearing Mjolnir Mark IV armor during an alien attack on the UESC Marathon. In Halo Combat Evolved, the Master Chief's armor is referred to as Mjolnir Mark V armor, despite the two games being entirely unrelated narratively. The two armor sets are also completely unrelated. Mjolnir Mark IV armor as it exists in the Halo universe is worn by the Spartans in Halo Wars. Fond of their origins, Bungie included a proper reference to the original Marathon armor in Halo 3 in the form of the security helmet and shoulder armor variants. They returned in Halo Reach, but weren't nearly as close to the original Marathon designs. Marathon also included Forge and Anvil, level editors that gave players access to the game designer's tools. Halo 3 introduced Forge Mode, a mode which allowed players to place and rearrange objects, weapons, and vehicles to their liking, the menu icon for which is an anvil. The cooperative campaign mode featured in Halo Combat Evolved had also been done prior in Marathon 2 Durandal. It doesn't stop there. In Halo 2 and 3, Master Chief was able to dual-wield weapons, a feature originally included in Marathon. While Halo wasn't able to take its multiplayer online until Halo 2 with the help of Xbox Live, Bungie's real-time strategy game Myth, released 7 years earlier, was one of the first Mac games to be playable over a network via Apple Talk. When Jones was first starting work on Halo, he initially codenamed the project Monkey Nuts, but later changed it to Blam, as he couldn't bring himself to say the codename in front of his mother. Along with the Forge mode, Halo 3 implemented a file share system which allowed users to make custom maps, modes, screenshots, and game clips available to the public. To cut down on the use of profanity on this service, using obscenities in titles or descriptions would result in the message being censored and replaced with Blam. This is most likely a nod to Jones's codename predicament. Cortana, the AI who accompanies Master Chief throughout the Halo games, made her debut through a series of emails sent to a very popular Marathon fan site. The emails were sent from a Cortana@Bungie.com, but are allegedly penned by Bungie staffer Nathan Bittner. While cryptic, the content of the emails didn't specifically point to the plot of the upcoming Halo game, nor Cortana's role in that story. As such, they're only considered canon where implemented in the actual games, such as in the announcement trailer for Halo 3.
This is the way the world ends.
Quite a few weapons were made for the third-person version of Halo that didn't make the cut for Halo Combat Evolved. That said, some were featured in later games. The Flamethrower made it into Halo CE PC Edition, but wouldn't be featured in a console game until Halo 3. The Covenant Sniper, as it is referred to by the developers commentating over the footage, was most likely converted into the Beam Rifle, which saw use in Halo 2 and 3. Halo 2 and the upcoming Halo 5 feature the Submachine Gun, or SMG, and while it wasn't an equipable weapon, the Chain Gun was featured in Halo 3 in the form of removable turrets. Some weapons that didn't make the cut were the Anti-Air Rocket Launcher and Machete, though certain versions of the double-barreled rocket launcher are able to lock on to flying vehicles. The Spear Gun, which was supposed to be used against sea creatures, and the Gravity Wrench don't appear to have any contemporaries in existing Halo games. There were also a couple of cut vehicles from Halo Combat Evolved. Before the series' iconic Warthog was implemented, Bungie designed a vehicle for the game based on the Hummer. Also cut during development was an early version of the Covenant Spectre. It appeared in the E3 2000 trailer but was apparently cut from the final version. The Spectre instead showed up in Halo 2. Halo Combat Evolved shipped with 10 playable campaign missions, but Bungie originally planned for 25. This was likely due to the graphical and perspective overhaul from the original third-person product for the Mac and PC to the first-person shooter made specifically for the Xbox. The game was originally planned to have a weather system and indigenous life forms to fill out the world of Halo, but both were scrapped during development. This same screenshot and caption from PC Gamer magazine suggests that Pelicans would be pilotable in the multiplayer, but this was never confirmed and isn't featured in the final game. Speaking of multiplayer, as Xbox Live wouldn't be ready by the time the Xbox launched, Halo Combat Evolved shipped with only split-screen and system-linked multiplayer. According to Bungie, they never really thought that people would do a lot of playing Xbox multiplayer on LAN, but this may be due to the fact that the multiplayer didn't work until just 5 weeks before the game launched. That's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe to DidYouKnowGaming and follow DidYouKnowGaming on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you also check out DidYouKnowGaming.com, and if you like this video, check out some more videos. And while we're at it, my name is Todd of Rated S Games, and if you like all kinds of Halo, I did a comparison of the first levels of Halo Combat Evolved 2, 3, and 4 over on my channel Rated S Games. It's like fun mixed with analysis, which is a thing that is possible, trust me.